Looks like Dad's off on a jolly jaunt this morning. Just walking this field of wheat, and yeah, don't think it's going to be so long until harvest. Where we were out in Suffolk last week, I did see some barley that had been cut. We haven't got any barley this year. It's just wheat and a few beans. But yeah, it was the 1st or the 2nd of July, and I saw some barley that had been cut. So yeah, that's pretty early. I don't know if any of you have started the harvest yet. If you have, let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to see who's making a start, doing what. I've got a load of dust and chaff in a bucket that I tidied up out of one of the sheds yesterday. Just got to tip that off in the trailer. So this shed in here, want to get this cleared out and swept out ready for harvest. There's a few things to move. There's Will's baler, grain trailer, combine bed and a topper. Just want to get those shifted out the way. So yeah, I'm going to put those in the shed that I just cleared out. So this morning I'm basically playing Tetris with machinery, and then this afternoon I'm going to go and turn the hay that I cut yesterday. We've actually got an important job to do before harvest. The fuel tank here is for the dryer. We moved it for a reason. As you know, we've been having a bit of a problem with a water leak in the dryer, which we think we're on top of now, sort of temporarily over, well, for harvest. I'm hoping we don't have any more problems with that. We moved the fuel tank out the way because we were going to have a bit of a complete rethink on the dryer, which we're still going to do, but we haven't had time to do it before this year's harvest. So the fuel tank moved out the way. That was just there. We've cleared up around there a little bit, but the fuel tank's got to come back, get hooked up. It's having a service next week, or later this week. The dryer has to have an annual service every year, and obviously we can't fire it up without the fuel tank connected, and obviously we can't use it either. So it wasn't a complete waste of time moving it out the way, but it does have to come back so we can actually use the dryer. The wet on the ground here is a good thing. It means the pump is working and it's not filling up with water down in the grain dryer pit, which was the big issue we were having. It's harder than it looks packing this thing in. For those of you wondering where Ray is this week, he's on holiday. He's abroad. He's in Benidorm. So I hope you're having a good time, Ray, although you've probably got way better things to be doing than watching this video. Right, gonna go flick a bit of grass about. Wish the sun was shining a bit more. They did say it was going to be, but they're always wrong, aren't they, the forecasters? As long as it doesn't rain. It's the same little issue I was having last year with the Lely Lotus, is the sort of rowing up effect it has when I'm trying to ted out the hay. I'm actually not that frustrated with it as I was last year. I was getting a bit sort of pissed off with it last year, but this time round I'm sort of putting it down to a couple of different things. The fact that it's a 2-in-1 machine. These sort of hay bob machines, they are designed to ted out and rake up as well. So 2-in-1, they're probably not going to be the best at both, but they're sort of good enough, I guess. They're sort of a cheap sort of way out, aren't they, hay bobs? But I do think it rows up better than it throws out tedding. So this here is what I haven't been over yet. This stuff on the left here, this is what I've just done. And yeah, as you can see, there is a bit of a rowing up effect happening. But at the end of the day, it is chucking the stuff from underneath onto the top. So it is going to help, you know, dry it out. It is spreading it quite well. It's probably just me. I don't know. The other reason, because I said about it being sort of a 2-in-1 jobby, the other sort of thing I'm putting it down to is the fact that my hay is always quite a light crop. I don't fertilise, it's just organic meadow hay. So I suppose if it's a fairly light crop, you might end up with this sort of rowing up effect. But I followed the instructions for setting up the tines and the wheels and the height and everything on the Lely Lotus. I've sort of followed what it said in the manual, and I'm still ending up with the same thing. I did think it was doing it better a couple of weeks ago when I had it on the Fordson Major, but again, it still was doing it a little bit. So I think that's just the way it is. But yeah, the sun shines. This stuff should dry out today. I think it's actually going to get quite hot towards the end of the week, so we could be baling at the weekend. We could have some hay. She does look good out in the hayfield though, the old 7710. I've taken off the windrow cages that come down at the back for raking up. I've taken them off for tedding. I did have the left hand side on for when I was doing my headland. That way it doesn't stick it out into the hedge. But then I took them both off for tedding because they sort of rattle around a little bit and I didn't want to sort of cause any damage to any of the pins or anything. Also, I am happy to admit that this is only my second year making hay. So if I am doing anything wrong and you know better, then please let me know. I'm not going to be bothered. You can criticise, it's fine. I'm still fairly new to this, so yeah, if you've got any tips or advice, please let me know. There's Dad. Probably come in for a landing soon. Right, here he comes. Try and get a clip of him coming in.